Hello, everyone. It's Charlton. All right, so I want to update you on this New Mexico compound story, and which has had several twists and turns. And so let me try to do my best and try not to maul their names. So you got Siraj Abin Wahaj, and this is his wife, Janie Lavelle, and on Wednesday. They were all in custody, and they were all charged with child neglect, to the best of my knowledge. And they may have been charged with something else in addition to child neglect. But on Wednesday, they upgraded their charges to child abuse resulting in death, and then they dropped the charges of child neglect against the other three members. It's 5 adults, and they're all related. They're all 5 children of a famous imam in New York City whose name is the same as his son, Siraj Wahaj. He's Siraj Abin Wahaj. And the famous imam is actually somebody who was, he served as a character witness to the Blind Sheikh in the first World Trade Center bombings, and he was actually named as an unindicted co-conspirator in that. He also was the first Muslim ever to, say a prayer from the House of Representatives. So he has a history that's a little controversial. So, but this is his son. This is his daughter-in-law. The other 2 females on the compound, adult females, are his daughters, his natural daughters, and the other man there, Lucas Martin, who I'll show in a picture hopefully at some point, is married to one of his daughters, so it's his son-in-law. So daughter-in-law, son-in-law, and his 3 natural children, son and 2 daughters. Okay, so on Wednesday, they had their charges upgraded to child abuse resulting in death, and the other 3 had their charges dropped altogether, and they were released from jail. So according to reports, it was basically a technicality to New Mexico law on the manner in which they were being prosecuted. The prosecutor had to present evidence within, I think, physical evidence or some type of evidence within 10 days of their arrest. Otherwise, they have to be released, by law. And they hadn't. So they were released. And the prosecutor at that time had said they're exploring other avenues of just prosecuting it through a grand jury, which doesn't have the same requirements and so forth. They weren't just going to let it go altogether. So, but now on Friday, all 5 were rearrested, even though these 2 remained in custody because of the upgraded charge to child abuse resulting in death. But the other 3 have been rearrested. They were rearrested without incident on Friday, and they've all been charged with different charges. And to the best of my knowledge, the child abuse resulting in death, that charge for these 2 was dropped on Friday as well. But same thing. I think if they didn't have the evidence ready within the 10 days, even if the charges were just announced on Wednesday, 10 days from then, they would have to present evidence. They weren't prepared to do that. They may bring those charges back again, but through a different procedure, through a grand jury or whatever's required by New Mexico law. Hopefully that all made sense. So, all 5 are in custody again, and they're being charged with, this is the article from Wednesday, of the 3 being released and these 2 being upgraded to child abuse resulting in death, which has now been dropped, but probably will be reinstated, through a different procedure, through the grand jury. And, but here's the new charges. The 5 residents of New Mexico compound were arrested on Friday by the FBI for violating firearms and conspiracy laws in what one of their lawyers described as a bad development for the group, who are accused of planning anti-government attacks. And, in this, in here, it tells you exactly kind of several things, and this is the article from Wednesday. Prosecutors said in court filings they discovered a handwritten document called, quote, Phases of a Terrorist Attack, and that was seized from the compound and includes vague instructions for the one-time terrorists, quote, end quote, and mentioned an unnamed place called the Ideal Attack Site. Prosecutors wrote in court filings that new interviews with some of the children removed from the compound revealed that one of the adults, Lucas Martin, stated he wished to die in jihad as a martyr, and that Lavale and Subhana Wahaj joked about dying in jihad. Morton, as well as Subhana Wahaj and Hujra Wahaj, had their charges dismissed Wednesday. That's what I was just talking about. The upgraded charge of child abuse resulting in death against Siraj Abin Wahaj and Laville are tied to an extensive account of Abdul Ghani's death. That's the 3-year-old boy whose remains were found there. It's the son of Siraj Abin Wahaj, in a journal that prosecutors attributed to Laville. So Janie Laville, his wife, who's not the natural mother of the 3-year-old boy. I think it's the 3-year-old. I'm not positive of that, whose remains were found there. And they're being accused of, not providing him his medicine and stuff like that. It's in here somewhere. But that's been dropped, like I said, and it's probably going to be reinstated. So there's Siraj Abin Wahaj and Janie Lavale. And that's Lucas Martin right there. That picture's probably extremely small for you guys to see, but I think it's pretty much the extent of it. The FBI on Friday arrested 5 former residents of the Ramshackle compound in New Mexico on firearms and conspiracy charges as local prosecutors dropped charges in the death of a 3-year-old Georgia boy. He was 3 years old. Taos County District Attorney Donald Gallegos said his office will now seek grand jury indictments involving the death, so they will be going that route for the death of the boy. 3 of the adults from the compound have been released Wednesday after state judges dismissed child neglect charges, noting that prosecutors missed deadlines to present evidence. More deadlines loomed in state court next week to show evidence backing up the charges of child abuse resulting in the death against Janie Laville and Siraj Abin Wahaj. So, which is why they've done what they've done, dropped it, and they're going to go through the grand jury. And that's pretty much the story there. I noticed that his wife, Janie Laville, she's actually from Haiti, and they were saying in here that defense attorneys say their clients have no criminal record, criminal convictions, and pose no risk to the public. Federal immigration authorities say Laville, a native of Haiti, has been in the United States unlawfully for 20 years after overstaying a visitor visa. All right. That's where we stand right now. And thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like down below. I will see you in the next video. Later, man.